Dear all, talks on climate change have undeniably been part of our discourse for all too long. Protests take place, people are urged to recycle, and reusable coffee cups stand as signs that the crisis feels real for many. Yet, for a large number amongst us, it feels that no matter how short we make our showers, in reality, change sometimes simply must come from above. As Uncle Ben tells us, with great power comes great responsibility. Perhaps if we all listened to Uncle Ben a little more, then we would not be writing this right now. But hey, here we are. The fact is that many of us are at a loss. Climate change feels as if it remains out of our hands, with protests and lifestyle changes appearing as a radical stance on something we cannot control. We are encouraged to make small changes in our daily lives to reduce waste, consumption, and emissions. Yet, how can we blame people for not changing their everyday comforts when the government, those with power, the power to change, are doing so little? The fact is that the issue cannot be ignored anymore. Governments have plans because there is enough to tell them that they must do something, but it is simply not enough. Let's focus on Flanders. Their recent plans to reduce greenhouse gas emissions are below the EU target. They focus on maintaining and improving natural resources, but it all remains within an apathetic attempt to truly reduce emissions significantly. Where Flemish government are the plans to improve public transport? What are we doing insulating homes, and what happened to the concrete block? The point is that it is easy to reduce the speed limit on the Brussels Ring Road, considering that the speed is already low to too much traffic. But where is the true change going to come from? And so, this is where we ask for your help. The plan is such that we want as many people as possible to write letters to the Flemish government, reminding them that the climate issue will not be resolved if they continue to do as they are doing. As with all great plans, this must start somewhere, and we ask if you would be willing to lead this chain of communication. We want to collate a selection of letters from you and other influential people on an online platform. We will spread these far and wide among student groups, organizations, and social media to initiate a chain of letter writing, taking your letters to be used by others or inspiring others to write their own. What can be in your letter? It's completely up to you. It can be a pamphlet, a question, a dream, or a wish. The approach is to demand for a decisive and necessary climate plan. We hope to hear your interest in joining our promotion as soon as possible. If you have any further questions, please contact us and we will be happy to talk further. Kind regards, Sarah, Rachel, and Elke.
We are Sarah, Elke, and Rachel. In October, we were briefed with a meaningful, challenging, and exciting project. The task, initiated by Vela van Scholand of Leuven's Arts and Cultural Centre 30cc, consisted of two strands, with the overarching aim of engaging people to make a positive difference in climate issues. The first of the goals was to educate people on climate matters in a way where the complex science behind it was put simply and easy to digest. This would be implemented through the creation and sharing of pictograms. The second aim was to instigate a letter writing campaign in a format inspired by the work of Amnesty International. And so we got to work on these two ideas. We thought a lot, we brainstormed together and individually, and as a group we waded through many ideas on how best we can make these plans come to life. The brainstorming part of our project, in fact, took us a very long time. We visited Leuven 2030, the environmental office at Leuven City Hall. We conversed our ideas and gained advice, both on climate science, on the climate help activity already taking place in Flanders, and we briefed ideas that we had so far thought through. We spoke with Amnesty International for advice on letter writing, and we researched and read to discover our best path through this. Ideas flew between us, from concentrating on one element of climate change to thinking about how we can get the whole world involved. At the end of a long and thorough brainstorming phase, we decided to fuel a letter campaign involving as many people as possible through two main sources of engagement. We would activate our position as active members of the Leuven student community, and we would utilise our position in the cultural sector established through our affiliation with Vela at 30cc. We wanted to bring a new style of discourse to the climate battle. We wanted to send out the message to the people that climate solutions need not be as complicated nor daunting to our everyday lives as they often seem to be. And we wanted to bring to realisation that whilst we can all do small things to make a difference, it is the government who have the capability to make the big differences, and yet the Flemish government is not doing this. We knew that the success of conveying these messages came down to a tone, style and pace of communication. The letter you have just heard is the letter we sent to a list of well-known people, famous for a variety of reasons, for their art making, their theatre creating, their TV presenting careers. We sent this out just before the world went into lockdown, just in time to get a response from some. Our plan was to place these responses on an online platform. These would be shared across social media and provide templates or inspiration for others to write their own. We would engage this way not only with those in our student and everyday circles, but with the followers of our famous friends. We then thought long and hard about how best to involve, engage and inspire our fellow students. We were in contact with student groups and ready to form allied involvement through this. But to make a true impact, not only on the government but also on those around us, we knew that we needed to make this special. Our message and our goal was simple. Write a letter asking for change from those who can make change. We can make this fun, and this need not be difficult for those who we involve. We thought about what students love best and came to the conclusion that it was often just being with each other with a beer or iced tea in hand. From this, we planned an event. It was to be held in Vakbar Letteren and would take place during a week in April that we had designated to be the week when we would instigate and encourage letters to be sent from all. The idea was that we would be there, telling all who came of our project and what we wanted to achieve. We would provide letter writing materials, pens, paper, envelopes, stamps, and those who wished to join us in asking the government for change would get a beer on us. We would all be there, saving the world over a nice cold Stella. So our plan was to come together through two main streams. We would gather letters from the student community of Leuven, and we would share our project across social media, including the letters from Flanders Famous. We planned for the letters to arrive at the Flemish government in a week in late April. Choosing to focus on Flanders made our goal feel achievable. We could make a big impact in a relatively small area, and with the power of social media and the involvement of press media, we hope to make our story one that would inspire others and make others listen, far and wide.
But then COVID-19 happened, and our social life was put on hold. Since we couldn't allow our event to happen, we decided to work out a possible activity 30cc could plan for the next Climate Week of Leuven. Our idea is that they organize an afternoon to host a letter writing campaign at the Climate Week. Pieter Boesemare could give a lecture on what climate crisis really is and what we and the government can do to help the climate. We advise Pieter Boesemare because he explains the climate crisis situation very clearly in his book, 10 Climate Actions That Work. After the lecture, people can choose a letter from a famous person they want to write to the Flemish government. We want to maintain the tone of our event, so we advise to make it fun and include drinks and food, so people can mix and have an interesting afternoon. We will send a document to 30cc with all the info they need for this event. For example, the contact info of famous people we already collected, and make a list of things they'll need to host this event. In that way, an altered version of our event will take place and our research work won't be lost.
So this was our project Warm Alarm. Thank you for listening and we hope that you are doing well.